Do you have a brilliant startup idea? Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
All right, welcome back to On the Cusp. Matt Snyder's back with me for another episode. And today we've got Donesa Walker from LearningRx.
LearningRx Shreveport.
Is that right? Well, what is that?
So LearningRx, we do brain training. So for children and adults, we start at age 4, we go to 104, or if you're 105, we'll take you. We train brains.
How do you do that? Because I need a lot of help.
So we start with an initial assessment that actually tells us where your cognition is functioning.
That can be scary. I don't know if I want mine documented. Like, wait a minute.
IQ.
Okay. We got to keep it confidential.
I don't know. Dr. George might not like that. Okay. He'll, might get let go or something if he really knew.
So everyone's IQ is different, so you can have an average IQ, 85, 110 average, and still struggle to read. You can have an average IQ and perform regularly, normally. So we work with those who are neurodivergent, and we work with those who are just trying to get a little edge in life. And so that depends on what you want. So it depends on what boost that you want. So like a personal trainer for the body, but this is for the brain.
That is interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So for somebody like me that loves to read, I got a stack of books and I never get through all of them. Right. If I wanted to speed up my reading,
absolutely.
You have a program for that.
Yeah, so everything we do is customized and one-to-one. So we actually build the exercises around what you're needing to boost in your skill set. And so everything is individualized to what you need. So you come in, you do your assessment. We can look at it and see if it is your processing speed or your working memory. Are you having to reread a little bit because your memory's fading just a little bit? Because as we age, those things happen. So as we get a little bit older, we have some skills that just fall. Our brain is at its best around our 30s, our mid-30s. And then if we're not refining it, then we're actually losing skills.
My mid-30s
that's
for
one of
sure.
those things.
Mid-30s are your sweet spot.
Where do you get your client base?
Are you talking about from Shreveport Bossier, or you're talking about, so ours is all over. So.
All over. For Shreveport Bossier, somebody in Shreveport Bossier, how do they get referred to you?
It depends. So sometimes they'll be referred by doctors. Sometimes they'll be referred by the schools because they see weaknesses there. So it depends on the level of the client, and many of them are just walk-ins. They're just people who have actually seen a commercial or seen us talk about what we do, and they're like, okay, I just want to.
So if you're a parent and you've got a child that's struggling reading, and a teacher says, hey, I think you ought to consider LearningRx as, something outside school.
Or I just don't know what's going on with your child. I'm not sure if it's attention. I'm not sure if it's a reading issue, because those things are a little bit gray sometimes. Sometimes you can't really tell as a teacher. I was a teacher in a classroom for over 20 years. And sometimes you look at that child and you're like, something is going on, but I'm just not sure what it is. And so that's where the testing is so invaluable, because then you can actually define exactly what it is. So this is a processing issue. Your brain's not picking it up quick enough. Or this is a memory issue. You're just not being able to put things from working memory into long-term memory, Or you're not picturing it in your head, this beautiful movie in your head that you're supposed to play while you're reading. You're not playing a movie, So that's, it varies from person to person. And I cannot say, over the 17 and a half years that I have been doing this, I have no two people who have come in with the exact same issues, ever. And so that's even twins, identical twins have come in, and their issues can vary, which is very interesting because, you have the same raising and the same.
So once they come in, they take the test, you diagnose, okay, this is where you need to work.
Right.
Okay. You put together an entire program for them.
Right. We customize that to them, and then their trainer starts working, their personal trainer, who is a board certified cognitive specialist. And that person works with them and then boosts that skills. And so each session drives the next session, just like with a personal trainer. I just left the gym before I came over here, and that was with a personal trainer who's working with me to build certain skills.
Is it online or in person?
It's in person and online. So we have both varieties. So we have clients who can't come to Shreveport because we're the only LearningRx in the state They can't come to Shreveport, so we train them virtually. So I have clients. In fact, one of my oldest clients is down in the New Orleans area. And she's 102, and she's just as vibrant as she can possibly be.
That is
how cool.
Runs her own business, and she is just about keeping her brain sharp. And so she attends weekly so that she can keep her brain sharp because she doesn't want to fade like everyone else.
Okay, so tell me about, like, when she attends, what is she doing?
So she's meeting with her personal trainer online because that she's
Right.
in New Orleans, and we play games that actually boost her skill set. So she wants to keep her memory sharp, and she wants to keep her processing speed sharp. So we're playing activities. Now, if we say that, that means that you and I need to play a game, right? So that you
Yes.
can understand the
Yes, let's do
experiences,
it.
okay?
Yes.
So you know how to play tic-tac-toe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna play tic-tac-toe here in the air.
Okay.
And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ooh,
So where are you
okay.
going?
I'm going to go to 5.
I'm a 3.
Okay. I'm going to go to 9.
Okay, I'm gonna go 1.
Okay. I'm going to go 4.
I'm gonna go 2 and win. 3, 2, 1.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that is amazing.
You just
Is that
lost
fun?
me.
That's hard.
After move 3, I got distracted, okay, and I couldn't visualize the board.
There you
Okay,
go.
I'm awake
So
now.
this
That's
is-
awesome.
This is visualization. This is short-term working memory. This is working on your processing speed because the speed I was keeping you at. And so this is working on your cognitive function, and it's fun. It's game-like.
That's
And
cool.
so we start at 4, and they have a blast playing at 4, and we play at 104, and they have a
Okay,
blast
so
playing.
that's great for cognitive
Sure.
skill, you know, for her on
Right.
that end. What about the 6-year-old, okay, who's struggling with reading? You make it a game too?
Sure, yeah. And you can even play the very same game, but you play it with cat, dog, and pin. So if we're working on the same type of game, but we're wanting to work the same skills, but instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's cat, dog, pen. And so they play the sounds instead of the numbers. So that's one way to play, and it's actually a harder way to play. So when you're playing with sounds, when you're playing like a 6-year-old who's struggling with reading, why are they struggling with reading? Are they struggling because it's a working memory issue? Is it because they can't hear the sounds of the English language? They don't know what sound goes to what letter. So again, testing to find why, and then play the game and have fun with it.
Oh,
So
that is
that you
such
can
a
do
different
that, so that
way
you can
at
blend
looking
it.
at learning.
That's pretty cool.
It
That
is.
is very cool. So talk to me about LearningRx, because you said Shreveport. So
Correct.
you have
A franchise.
a franchise.
Well,
You've
I actually
licensed-
own the Shreveport and the Bossier franchise, so I own both of those franchises.
So is it geographic? You went out and licensed
did,
it
yeah,
from them
so-
for a geographic region.
Correct, yes. So back in 2007, I was a dyslexia specialist. I've been a dyslexia specialist for many years and working in the public school system. And I kept seeing children take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I couldn't put my finger on what the issue was, but I knew it had something to do with memory. And as a dyslexia specialist, I wasn't trained for that. As a teacher, I wasn't trained for that. And so I was reading all of the different books and trying to find out all about it. And I found that it had to do with the brain and how the brain was working. And so I became fascinated with it and then came across the franchise and started. My original goal was actually to bring that franchise into my school system and say, you know, we need to change the way our schools are functioning because obviously we had some struggles. We were like 51st in the nation in Louisiana at that point. And I was like, okay, we've got to change the way that we're looking at things. I was actually teaching at that time and the reading specialist, the district reading specialist in Wascom ISD, which is right across the state line in Texas. Texas, born and raised, girl, married Louisiana boy, you know. Anyways,
It works out well for
yeah,
us.
it works out. So anyway, so that's what I brought it into my school system. I came to my person that was above me and I said, this is what I want to do. This is fascinating. It's going to change the way we do things. And she kind of looked at me and she was like, do you really think that the school's going to do one-to-one like that? And I was like, if we do, it's going to change the world, you know? And she was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And she was just like, there's not the funding for it. There's not the time and the staffing for it. And she said, but you're young. If you want to go and do this, you're actually already eligible for retirement because you've already put in 20 years and you're only 39 years old. So you can go ahead and go do this. And I'm 3 years from retirement, so I'll help you financially. And then when you know, pay me back when I retire. And so
that's
that's
awesome.
what happened is I bought her out
Opportunity.
after her retirement. Yes. So that was how the business came into it. And I put some skin in the game and some money, but some skin in the game, mainly the work equity. And she helped me.
So how many
get
clients do
started.
you have right now in Shreveport-Bossier?
So over the 17 years, I've had over 1,700, and I run about 100 clients a year. My franchise is the top franchise in the nation and has been since I opened.
Wow.
So that's been kind of one of the honors that I've had is being, and in 23, I actually won something called the Compass Award, which was the top franchise in the world because LearningRx franchises across the world. It's called BrainRx internationally, but it was the top in the world.
So if their curriculum gets updated because you're franchising everything, you get the latest techniques.
Always. And I'm always cutting edge. So, I mean, that's one of the things I've actually been honored to be a part of writing some of the new curriculum and exercises because through experience you learn things that are changing in brains. You know, as you're working with clients, you're saying, oh, well, there's more of a need for this, there's more of a need for that. So you can make those transitions and changes.
So how many specialists do you have working for you right now?
I have 18.
You have 18?
Wow.
Yeah, I have 18 specialists to work for me.
gosh.
Yeah. So,
And they're all here in Shreveport-Bossier?
Well, actually, I have one who lives in the Dallas area and trains only virtually. So he trains completely virtually. And then the rest of them live here. So, yeah. And
That's
they
really
train
cool.
virtually also.
So
in
what's
person.
the pricing model, if I can ask?
So, yeah, absolutely. So each person chooses their mix of their package. So we have time and money budget. Everybody does. We have time and money budget that we do things by. And so we try to customize to the time and money budget of the person. So the initial income when they come in is a $299 assessment, and that includes a free consultation with me. That's, courtesy or complimentary to go with the testing.
How long does the test take?
The test takes about an hour and a half to do that, and it encompasses not only the cognitive skills, but also an academic measure to see for the students, those up to 25. We measure an academic measure also to see where it is transferring to the school setting or, the educational setting for them. And so we do the 2 tests, and then they meet with me, and I give them a plan. So remember, it's important for us when you do an assessment, you find out your skill sets. It's not just to say, oh, well, you got to come work with us. That's not my goal line. My goal line is this is where your weaknesses are, and these are the things you need to be working on at home. These are some things that you need to be doing on a regular basis. This is how we can partner with you. We want cognitive skills training to be a lifestyle because it needs to be a lifestyle, just like physical fitness is a lifestyle. It needs to be a lifestyle that we adopt as families, that we adopt as a society, that we're constantly growing our brains and growing because that's what neuroplasticity is all about in the brain, is about the brain retask its cells so that it can do whatever you're challenging it to do. And so if you are constantly working it, then you're going to constantly be growing that brain. And instead of aging, you can actually be moving forward.
So
that's the value of reading and learning.
It sounds very medicine 3.0, which
Right.
is really where medicine is going.
Right.
You're back here, looking at, okay, how do you have a lifelong learning capability regardless of where you are in age? And if you start early
Right.
and work through it, heck,
Right.
I consider myself a lifelong learner.
Right.
Okay, I can't learn enough. And my children go, God, please stop. Okay, because I try to pass it on to them.
Sure.
They don't want it. So I can see where that works well.
But the learning to learn is really what you're wanting to do. I mean, for you're saying I'm a lifelong learner and you're enjoying the learning process. But for many people, they don't enjoy the learning process. And so then they're like, I don't want any of that, okay? So that's difficult for me, okay? So for example, my husband, he's a retired game warden. I could drop him off in the woods and he would find himself home in no time because he's able to see that and visualize that in his brain. growing up, I didn't have that skill. I mean, you tell me turn south on
Google
I-20,
Maps is your friend.
Yeah, Google Maps would have been my friend for sure. Yeah, in fact, we laugh because when I first went to franchise training, I had 2 master's degrees, but when I first went to franchise training, I would get lost in Colorado Springs trying to train. And so the people who were riding with me, it was always this big joke. We still talk about it to this day. But now, after brain training, then I actually have that visual processor, that map in my brain that I did not have when I first went to training, because it's a trainable skill.
I want to go down a different lane for a second,
let's do it.
because we talk to entrepreneurs here,
Right.
and I really love that. And I'm from a family of teachers.
Okay.
My wife's a teacher, my
Yeah.
mom's a teacher, my mother-in-law's a teacher.
I relate to that.
And I love that you were in that world that is its own world,
It is.
very much.
Very
like,
much, yes.
It
Own
is
language
something
and
to be seen. We go down to New Orleans for the teacher convention, Dave. I can spot them from a mile away. They all got their burlap sacks walking around. They're hit the city. Okay, but you left that world and you're a business owner.
Right.
I mean, that's an interesting, so what was that transition like? Because I
Very
think
challenging.
teachers, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is.
You had to deal with payroll. You had to deal with licensing. You had to do all those things a business owner
And
does.
it was a really big transition. I will say that was probably the most challenging part of my life. Even though I had already been in administration, I had been an administrator at a public school. I had been a district reading coordinator. I had been a principal. I had had administrative roles.
It's
But
different.
there's no thing like that transition to go to business.
Was it more rewarding, do you think? I mean, how would you describe that?
Seeing the students change, yes. The responsibility, moving from a secure paycheck to, I don't know if my paycheck's coming, was very, very stressing. Being responsible for employees and knowing that, you're responsible for them in so many different ways. And these clients, you're responsible. So in a lot of ways, there's incredible rewards. It's incredibly rewarding when you hear the stories of how you've changed a child's life and it ripples out to their family. I mean, that's my why. That's why I keep doing what I do, is the why. And that's so rewarding to see that, and I cannot ever, put that down. I mean, that's like you help somebody get lease on life. That's incredible. And you can see that as a teacher also. You get, some of that also as a teacher. You see, kids getting the light bulb on, so to speak, light bulb moments. Making the transition to becoming a business owner is challenging in so many ways, because moving from regular, this is my checking account, to this is my business checking account. Knowing what to market, how to market. Marketing is like one of the hardest things in the world to do.
Yeah.
Not for Matt, but
it's hard.
But it's hard no matter who
People
you are.
underestimate how hard it is.
Yeah.
A lot.
Marketing is super challenging, and knowing your marketing mix. And so now if you talk to people, they would say, I'm one of the best marketers or networkers out there, but that's because I had to learn that the hard way.
Right.
It was not something that was just a natural, thing to happen. You have to learn those skills. So the learning process, the learning curve was incredibly challenging. I embraced it, but I think the difference in teaching and business, teaching, you get more professional at what you're doing, and you learn a few new things and you incorporate and you pass that, but you get to redo a lot of things. You get to fine-tune your skills, right?
Yes.
And what I do, it's constantly changing. I mean, it's a constant moving change.
And you learn to deal with all those constantly changing variables.
That's the business world.
That's the business world. Absolutely.
Right. And it's a total different thing. 100%.
So that's a funny thing.
Every day.
Being married to a teacher and being a crazy serial entrepreneur with a billion things.
Right.
Our brains aren't moving at the same. It's not the same deal.
And so to put it
It's an
together was
interesting
very
world.
much. Yeah, it was very much. In fact,
that is a wonderful story. And
the first year, I have to tell you the hilarious part. You'll love this. Both of you will love this. So when I went to the franchise the first time, and Dr. Ken Gibson, who wrote the program, and he said to me, Donesa, we're going to talk about being $1 million center and being a top center and this sort of thing. And he was like, but we don't expect that for Shreveport, because Shreveport's the lowest demographic, Most of the centers, LearningRx centers, are in Dallas or Minneapolis or, big areas like this. And he was like, so we really don't expect the same, so don't get your feelings hurt. And I said, but what if I am the first $1 million center? And he was like, well, I'll send you on a cruise.
Did you go on a cruise?
I did.
That is so cool. I love it when somebody puts down this region and then somebody proves them different.
I did it my very first year. My very first year. And I've maintained that level of status and kept it
So you are in the
moving.
President's Club.
I am in the President's Club, yes.
Donesa, this has been so good.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
cool.
How does somebody find you right now today?
Oh, they just go to learningrx.com/Shreveport, or they can call me. They can go on Facebook and look up LearningRx Shreveport. So anything that they want to do.
Thank you so
That's
much.
really
This has been
cool.
so much fun.
I love that. I'm going to be
Thank
making
you.
my kids play tic-tac-toe in the air.
Oh, yeah,
All
that
the
is
time.
cool.
Keep that game.
I'm trying that
love
with
it.
my wife
Yeah,
tonight.
family game night.
I love it.
Good.
Thank you, Donesa.
Thank you so
It's a
much.
pleasure. Yeah.
This has been fun.
That's awesome.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.